Hello and welcome back to Walk the Cinema podcast. We are coming to almost the end of our Oscar highlights, but today we are going to be continuing with Power of the Dog.
So this is the most nominated movie this year, right?
Yes.
Make sure I'm right, because if I'm wrong, I'm going to get burnt in the comments again.
No, I'm pretty sure this is...
It's 12.
Yeah.
12 nominations. This was kind of underseen. I feel that at a point, like, a lot of the media was talking about how this was not very popular for Netflix. But, I don't know. Does it grant the 12 nominations, you think?
That's a hard question. I definitely see the merit of why it's critically acclaimed right now.
Right.
But I'm not sure it deserves all of the things it got nominated for, in my opinion.
Well, it already won the Best Ensemble Cast at the Screen Actors Guild Awards, which I would say this is the best ensemble of the year. Like, it's not my favorite movie, but, like, it has very strong acting from, like, the four, I guess, main ones that make the ensemble. And it's, I don't know, it's very familiar in a sense. I feel like there's a lot of these, like, serious Western dramas that get this type of recognition.
Yeah.
And Forgiven won Best Picture recently, not recently, but in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And that feels like a step down from Power of the Dog for me. Which I probably shouldn't have said that because people love Unforgiven, but I feel like this is classier and more impactful in my eyes.
It definitely, I think it's kind of not necessarily a slow burn, right? But it definitely doesn't slap you in the face, I think,
right.
with its themes and its...
Well, even the title is very suggestive. Because the Power of the Dog, I guess he reads that in, like, a Bible verse at the end, which I'm not super familiar with. But the dog himself that they talk about is the shadow that they see in the hills.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only 3 people that are able to see that. And we go to that, like, 2-3 times throughout the movie, where he just stares the main character,
Phil, played by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes, Phil just stares into the hill, and his cow hands don't really know what he's looking at. And then when he's next to Peter, Peter immediately sees it, or he already had seen it, and then he brings it up. And those 2 characters see it, and then Bronco Henry, which is that character we never meet, but it's talked about heavily.
Yeah,
he also sees it. And I think the connection between those 3 and seeing it is that they're also hiding something. Like, the hill is hiding the dog, right? And those 3 characters are hiding themselves from this very masculine and stern environment.
Right.
Which is, I think, is the main theme of the movie.
Well, from what I've read a little bit about, I did see that Benedict Cumberbatch, who does play the main character, said that this movie really is about fighting toxic masculinity,
right?
I guess. Where, I mean, Phil, the character, is probably the epitome of someone who is toxically masculine.
Yeah, and then we see why he's toxically masculine.
Because, he's trying to hide another part of him.
Yeah, he's trying to overcompensate.
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of people correlate to toxic masculinity. Like, you're so against feminine things or homosexual acts because you're trying to hide your own insecurities,
or, like, you know, that kind of thing. But this movie had, I don't know, it started off, I wasn't too sure about it, I guess. But something that did really capture me immediately was the soundtrack. I really liked all the kind of background.
Yeah, this got nominated for that.
Music. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that one's probably one of the ones that it definitely deserves, because it felt very engaging to me.
I felt very engaged with the acting.
The acting also. I think Kristen Dunst, love her so much. She's always playing these kind of sad characters nowadays.
I think it's like kind of cute that she's with her fiance or husband, I don't know, in the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Plemons, they've been dating for a while.
Yeah, 2016, I think.
And then they're dating in the movie, but it's a completely different type of relationship that's, I don't know, kind of lumped together for them, which is why Phil is also unsure about her.
Yeah, I guess so, because Phil is a very untrusting person, which we don't really know why he's untrusting of Rose.
Well, because he just thinks that she's doing it for the money.
Well, yeah, but like we don't
really hates her though.
Yeah, we don't know why he hates her.
Yeah,
like it's not really stated other than that he thinks that maybe she's using his brother. But I mean, there was never any instance of, I would think, that would solidify that she is using his brother, you know?
Well, everything's up for interpretation, but it's part of it. This movie really doesn't put anything out to you. It does, like, do it through emotions and feelings more than showing you.
Emotions, feelings, and then, like, little clues, I'd say, sprinkled throughout. Because, I mean, we talked about this right after we saw it, about the ending of Phil dying.
Yes.
Obviously, we're going to be talking about the whole movie, so if you haven't seen it, sorry. But so Phil dies because
anthrax.
Yeah, he was in contact with anthrax because the hide that he was using to make the rope was from an infected cow, and he had a pretty nasty cut from moving logs. You know, it was either the day prior or like that morning prior. Either way,
well,
doesn't really matter.
You bring that up, but yeah, the timeline sometimes is a little not explicit.
Yeah,
it can confuse a little bit.
Yeah,
but yeah, sorry, you're on your story.
Well, yeah, so I not immediately, I just kind of thought, oh, that's a tragic thing that happened. He died on accident. Oops. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, but Peter is going to school to be a medical doctor. He's already killed a rabbit and dissected it. And, you know, the people of the house, like the household members, like the girl that makes the food, and then his mom kind of think it's a little like weird that he killed the bunny.
Yeah.
When they were all kind of enamored with it. They were still going to eat it, but like they didn't think he was going to dissect it, I believe. And so we have that. We have that the story that Phil already told him, that some of the dead calves that he finds usually had some type of disease such as anthrax.
Yeah, they mentioned that, yeah.
He cut the hide from the cow.
A dead cow.
Yeah, from a dead cow.
That was diseased.
Yeah. So, and then he, at the end, when he's holding the finished rope, he's holding it with gloves.
Which implies he knew.
Yeah, implies he knew that that's what killed him. And so my thing is like, I think he did it on purpose. I think that, because my thing was like, he seemed to really love his mother at the beginning. So I was like, well, we all know Phil is like driving her to alcoholism, or had driven her to alcoholism.
Well, yeah, you belittled her so much that she felt worthless. We see that when she supposed to play the piano for the guests and she just can't bring herself to do it because of the embarrassment she felt when Phil was playing the banjo, making fun of her playing the piano.
Yeah, she got upstaged by the banjo.
Yeah, she's really affected by this type of hazing that Phil brings. And so my confusion was, why is Peter getting so close to Phil if he knows that Phil is kind of the worst person to his mother, and he seems to have a pretty close relationship with his mother.
So that was kind of my thinking. He was plotting to kill Phil so that the kind of thing that's hurting his mother can be completely eliminated, because, that's pretty much all he could do. So it's really interesting.
Well, I didn't see it. I didn't see it the way you did. Not that I'm disagreeing with you. I actually think it's like, once you told me that, I was like, oh, that's very interesting. I don't know what's supposed to be the interpretation that the director's trying to give, right? I don't know if she's trying to imply that or if she's just leaving it ambiguously.
Well, I think, since this is based on a book, I'm pretty sure the book does kind of more or less directly say that Peter did kill Phil, on purpose.
No, I do think the movie also says that, because the movie can interpret it however it wants. Even if it's based on a book, doesn't mean it's the same story.
Right.
But yeah, I do think in this case, yeah, he did kill him, because the way he handles the rope, he feels so scared of even touching it that he has to put on gloves. It's because he knows that the cow is diseased. Just the only doubt that could exist is, how would he know that his mom would give away? Yeah,
there's a lot of variables in that, he did it on purpose. I think he just was, in my mind, he was putting a lot of cedars out there, if this works this way, then we'll go this way. Because we also, how would he have known that he would have cut his hand too? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which is what got infected in the first place.
But also, in the movie, Peter seems to be somehow attracted to Phil. He's very insistent with the conversations about Bronco Henry. He asks if they were naked, and he doesn't back away when Phil gets really close to his face. There's a moment they tease that they're gonna kiss.
Mm. Well, I think at least on Phil's part, he was, after Peter had caught him swimming in the pool and saw,
well, it's not a pool.
Well, it's the
yeah.
little
disgusting pond, disgusting green water.
Yeah.
Place.
Yeah. And he found Bronco Henry's old magazines or pictures.
No, the magazines were Phil's.
No, it said Bronco Henry.
No, it said Bronco Henry, but I think the magazines were Phil.
They were definitely Bronco Henry's
reading material,
which I think does kind of imply that he liked men.
Well, also we see Phil use a scarf, a piece of cloth that said Bronco Henry on it, or BH on it.
Yeah, it had BH on it.
And he put it down his pants.
Right, but I think that on Phil's part, I was saying, he wants to have sort of a mentorship thing that he had with Bronco Henry.
Yeah, it's the reflection of what he had with his mentor.
Yeah.
Peter is the new Phil.
Yeah,
in this relationship.
I don't know if necessarily Phil is, if that's his main, it's obviously not his main focus, but I don't know if it's even his focus at all. I don't even know if in different circumstances if Phil would be into that, or if he's just, effeminate. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because Peter's very callous and calculating, I think. And so, to me, I feel like he took these clues that potentially Phil and Bronco were lovers, and is using that to lure Phil into a false sense of security.
Because he is effeminate,
mm-hmm.
right? Doesn't mean he's gay.
Right.
But he could know that he's been perceived as gay and then use that.
Yeah, that's why I could see that also being a thing. I don't know if
it's really interesting.
It is.
I kind of wish that it was a little longer so they could
develop stuff.
More.
I kind of agree with that. I do think that this is a very I mean, it's still 2 hours, but it seems very short for what it's trying to do.
Right. I mean, it could be 2.5, 3 hours. It really could develop more.
I agree.
But I think a lot of people already thought it was really long.
I don't agree with that, because I think that there could have been a longer development between, obviously Phil is kind of a piece of crap the entire like first half.
Well, he's a piece of crap even at the end.
Well, yeah,
really,
but more so in the beginning, where he viciously kind of attacks Peter. Oh yeah, but
well,
Peter,
in the beginning, it was like, we don't know anything about him in the beginning, right? You just jump into it.
Yeah.
And he's so vile.
Yeah.
I legitimately hated him.
Yeah.
At the end, I didn't hate him. He's not a good guy by the end, though.
No.
He is kind of a villain that's trying to...
Yeah. You do kind of get a sense of like, I don't hate this guy, but he's not...
You
like,
understand
great.
why he's doing it.
Yeah.
He's doing it to hide his insecurities. He does... Because when he's alone, he acts very different. Mm-hmm. He acts very intuitively, I guess.
Well, yeah, because like we also know things about him, such as that he has a degree. Like,
yeah, from Yale.
Yeah, like he's really smart, but he chooses to be a farmer on a Montana ranch.
He's very rich.
Yeah.
So I mean, smart, dumb doesn't matter, but he hides his wit. He hides it behind like a layer of dirtiness. Mm-hmm. Smelling bad and not showering.
Yeah.
Because I think and I guess everyone else sees it, so he's right, because he doesn't shower, he smells bad, he's rude, and everyone thinks of him as this tough guy.
Yeah. That
has no concerns whatsoever besides doing his work.
Yeah.
Which is far from the truth.
Mm-hmm. He is hiding his, like, true self in all sense of the...
Yeah, he's hiding that he's smart. He's hiding that we're assuming he likes men. I mean, it's pretty heavily implied.
Right.
He's smart. He likes men. He likes daintier things sometimes. I feel like he lays in the grass.
Yeah.
He goes into the water. He covers himself in mud. They're, like, sensitive... I guess, things.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to show that at all. That's why he has his hidden place to do these things.
Yeah. And Peter kind of is also hiding some stuff, because they have a conversation, him and Phil, about what his father told him about how he could be kinder. Mm. And he is kind of faking being kind, you know? Like giving Phil the hide that he had saved up.
Yeah.
Or
at this point, we're just fully... convinced that he killed him on purpose.
Yeah. But I think that Peter is, his father might have been right. He might have been a little too psychopathy, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he has this whole plan of killing him softly.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I really like the story. It's really good. It's really well built. Again, I would like it to be longer, because it could be even slower, in my opinion. It could develop more.
Yeah.
But it's really well built. And, you know, it is based on a book, so Jane Campion had a lot to work with here, and I think she did a great job, yet again, because I think she's a great director.
Yeah. But I will say that some of the criticisms that people have brought up, specifically, I'm referring to Sam Elliott.
Right.
What he said about it was that, she's from New Zealand. It was shot in New Zealand. What does she know about the Montana Western life and how to portray that genuinely?
It felt pretty genuine.
I mean, it felt genuine. I can maybe see he is from a different time where, like, you know, cowboys were macho. And
if you heard him speak, he's so stuck in that macho mentality, the way he even talks. But like, I kind of lost a little bit of respect for him, I'll be honest. Not because he's wrong, right, I don't agree. It's just because, like, why would you be so vocal about something so minor?
Yeah, and I mean, my thing is, like, you obviously don't have to be an expert at something to create.
Of course.
You know, it.
No, you don't.
You just have to know, I think... You do have to have some type of connection, maybe emotionally or
I mean, this movie is emotional. It's a psychological drama. It's about the feelings. Like, the setting is Western, but it could be any other setting. You could switch it out.
Yeah. You
could make this about, I don't know, a guy being a cop or something. I don't really know, but like
pirates. You could do pirates.
Sure, you can remake it as a pirate movie. You're really into pirates lately,
right? But I think that's pretty much been the biggest issue with it that I've seen. And also I think something that this movie it has kind of going against it is that it's a Netflix original. And
it has against it in the award perspective, you mean, right? Yeah. Not in a, like, it would be a better movie if it wasn't.
Yeah, no. Sure. I don't think, obviously, like, Netflix doesn't really have any sway, I think, over the finished product, right? They just bought the rights to show it.
Well, it depends on the movies. This one I actually didn't look too much into. But, yeah, I doubt it was commissioned.
Yeah.
They commissioned Tall Girl 2, but I don't think they commissioned Project.
I don't think so. But, yeah, I think that for the Oscars coming up, it might... I know right now, currently, as we're recording this, I think it is still the favorite to win.
It's been the favorite for a while. But yeah. The places around it have moved to... I mean, it's going to come out to the voters, and we're going to figure it out when the Oscars are... It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're a big step for Netflix, and this is the closest they're gonna get. It surely won't be with Don't Look Up.
Yeah, that's true. But I think we should give our ratings before we go into
the nominations.
Yeah, before we go through the nominations. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I think mostly I didn't give it anything higher, maybe just because I wasn't in the mood. This was kind of one of those movies where it was pretty much our last movie that we had to watch for the Oscars. And it kind of felt like I was kind of pressuring myself to watch it instead of kind of naturally, organically watching it.
I wasn't like super into the idea of watching it, but by the end, I'm excited to watch it again.
Yeah, that's true. I am excited to watch it in the future, and try to get some stuff that I missed, because I think having the perspective of like, here's the story, now you can go back and kind of pick apart the stuff that you might have overlooked.
I think it'll be a lot more fun the second time around for me. It was just going into the unknown that was like daring.
Yeah.
But I liked it a lot. I gave it an 8. It could go up in the future. I do think it's very well put together, and it really expresses all these emotions without ever being over the top in any sense. And then, of course, it's really well made in technical areas. That's why it has 12 nominations. It looks great. Does it sometimes look like it's New Zealand and not Montana? A little? A little bit. But it still looks great. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They have cows in New Zealand. So it got 12 nominations. We talked about the original score, which you loved.
I did. I thought that was really good. I think it really added to the movie, where I feel sometimes original scores that get nominated, they just are there. I don't think they add anything to the overall feel of the movie, but I think that this did. I think that this did a good job.
It did. It was I mean, I don't think it was the most standoutish score, but it was still very good. And it doesn't have to stand out to be good. That's kind of blending in is kind of part of it.
Yeah.
Got editing, which good. I didn't have any problems with it. I don't know if I was like, oh, this is great editing, but I also didn't think literally anything was done wrong with the editing.
It also got cinematography and sound.
Yeah, cinematography, sound, production design. Okay, sure. I mean,
I feel like the production design is a little weak here.
I don't think it's weak. It's just not super important to the story.
Yeah. Well, it's not weak in the sense that I think they did a bad job, just weak in I think other movies deserve higher
but that's
praise
what
for it.
We talked about The Father last year, and that got production design, and it's like, okay, sure.
I think maybe that one more so because...
It's just a house.
Well, it's a house, but then you also have to make it kind of vague enough that you're not sure if it's his house or if it's somebody else's house. You know, it had to, you know. But anyway, that was last year.
And then it got like all these acting nominations. All four of the people, the main people we talked about. So Kristen Dunst for supporting actress, Jesse Plemons for supporting actor, and Cody Smith McPhee as also supporting actor, and then the leading actor for
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Which, let's talk about how he didn't feel like Benedict Cumberbatch at all.
I think, because I know he's had this problem in the past before where his American accent sounds really, really bad. And I think he probably worked extremely hard to make it better, because this was way better than
he was really good. Last episode was Nightmare Alley, and my main complaint was that Bradley Cooper was Bradley Cooper. Like, I couldn't see past that because it just felt like it was him talking. And this Cumberbatch really like did a great job at sounding like a tough guy cowboy. So very impressed by him.
It also got directing
and screenplay.
Adapted screenplay.
Yeah, adapted screenplay. So it got all the big ones. Of course, it got Best Picture. So it got the four big ones, which if it wins actor, screenplay, director, and Best Picture, that's huge.
Yeah.
It's happened a couple times in the past, and this is, I think, the only one that could do that, maybe?
Yeah.
Realistically.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I think that, I mean, some of them, I guess, it deserves... I'm not saying this movie doesn't deserve anything, right? But...
You earlier said it didn't deserve 12.
Yeah.
Is it the number, or is it a specific nomination?
I just think some of the specific nominations, like... But, I mean... to be honest, I think my qualms with it just have to do with... I think there have been other movies this year that I think deserve at least a nod in some direction. So this getting 12 of like even the quote unquote smaller categories.
They got big categories. This got nominated like a huge movie. This got nominated like something that like blew up in theaters, and it didn't. It didn't even blow up on Netflix.
Yeah.
So when you put POW on Netflix to look up the Power of the Dog, you get Power Rangers first.
Yeah, you do.
So...
But I think we'll talk more about the nominations and stuff on our next episode, or the episode after next. Our last episode is West Side Story before our Oscar predictions, but we'll talk more about this movie then. But I think we're going to wrap it up here.
And we'll see you soon with West Side Story, and all other Oscar content is either already out or will come out very, very soon. So
we'll see you next time.